made our way into the Wave Radio Boston performance area that is part of the Westover Inn Studios at Wave Radio Boston. All right, so we are about ready for the Peppermint Kicks to take off. Sal and Dan have made their way. They have mounted their stools, strapped on their guitar weapons, and they are ready to lay down for us. Guys, the stage is yours.
All right, thank you. So we're going to start with, we talked earlier about me discovering the Ramones in a magazine, right? So the finish of that story and sort of how it relates to this tune is, so my parents went out and bought me Rocket to Russia, and then I went in my room and I put it on the turntable and put it on, blasting it, and then, I don't know, 2 or 3 songs in, Do You Want to Dance comes on, and it's blasting away. And my parents burst in the room sort of dancing to it, which totally freaked me out and embarrassed me. I'm like, come on, Dad, Mom. They're like, this is my music, my music. And as I sort of got, reminiscing with some of the songs Sal and I were writing, I remembered that. And I was like, man, there's sort of a song in that, right? And I started playing around with these chords and came up with the title, When Rock and Roll Met Your Dad. Because I realized sort of the more things change with music, the more they stay the same, So this is When Rock and Roll Met Your Dad. A long time ago and so far away, just 13 years old, you'd sit in your room as the record played and dream of going gold. Remember your dad with a smile on his face, pretending he was a Ramone. And Ma was singing, do you want to dance? Thank God for rock and roll. Does rock and roll forgive? Does rock and roll forgive? Does rock and roll make you mad? Does rock and roll make you sad? Does rock and roll make amends? Is rock and roll your best friend? All the times that you had when rock and roll met your dad. Now all of you kids sing about teenage kicks and shout out rock and roll. Don't let them make you trade your guitar licks for someone else's club. May one day soon the songs you pen be heard around the world. Does rock and roll forgive? Does rock and roll forgive? Does rock and roll make you mad? Does rock and roll make you sad? Does rock and roll make amends? Is rock and roll a dead end? All the times that you had when rock and roll met your dad. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah. Now 25 years have gone by in a blur. Your mama doesn't dance no more. But once in a while you swear you see her there when Dee Dee counts to 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Does rock and roll forgive? Does rock and roll forgive? Does rock and roll make you mad? Does rock and roll make you sad? Does rock and roll make a mess? Is rock and roll your best friend? The times that you had done up in plaid when rock and roll met you dead. When rock and roll met you dead. Hey ho, let's go. Hey ho, let's go. Hey ho, let's go. Whoa, 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 whoa. Hey ho, let's go. Hey ho, let's go. Hey ho, let's go.
All right.
That wasn't too bad for a couple of old guys.
Good job, young Dan.
Oh, thanks, man.
I wish my dad danced to the Ramones. He was more of a Steely Dan guy.
Yeah, my dad was more of a Stones guy too, but you know that song was the connection. You know, who did the original? Like that was somebody like Bobby Freeman. Bobby Freeman. There you go.
And the Beach Boys did a version too.
Oh, did they too? Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Cool.
yeah.
It was great. Well, Rocket to Russia is just such a damn good album, man. That is such a good record. Well, this is kind of inspired by the same thing because we wrote this one. We'll do Fanzine.
Yeah.
So we did this one right before we Rock and Roll Met Your Dad, and this was the first one where I was sort of thinking about being a kid in my room, looking at the rock magazines, and sort of, you know, when you're a kid and trying to sort of escape whatever it is, school or your parents or whatever, and everyday life, you know, that's where you found the refuge. You know, cranking up the tunes and looking at the Cream magazine or whatever.
Absolutely.
And so Sal came up with the music and the title and the melody for this stuff, and then I just sort of ran with the lyrics, and I was hoping that he would forgive me for whatever I came up with.
No, it was great. It was great. Like I said, it had a good pie crust. Needed a filling.
All right. Well, this is kind of a punk rock song in a way, but let's see if it works on acoustic, shall we? 1, 2, 3, 4. Hey, fanzine, rock and roll queen, once you were a riot girl. Sweet 16, made out cherry buzz. Crawled inside your pages at night, howling to a bullet on my bed, bouncing like an upright head. You black and white, courier type, edges all beat up, curl by the bedroom light, save me from a white bread world. Oh, na na na, na 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 na, na 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 na. Hey, fanzine, circus and cream, everybody sniffing good. 17, 3 cards and the truth. Filled with kicks and all cheap tricks, weird like mom and dad. Yeah, we dress like chicks, still look sick and drag. A fanzine, na 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 na, na 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 na. Hey, fanzine, na 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 na. You black and white, stereotyped, edges all beat up, curl. In the dead of night, we're all alright, dreaming of a punk rock world. A punk rock world. Na na na, na 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 na, na 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 na. Na 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 na, na 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 na. Na 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 na, na 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 na.
right.
Hey, fanzine.
So I have to know that is one of my new favorite lines in a lyric. Dressed like chicks, still look sick. Who
Yeah, well,
who came up with that one?
Well, I mean, as Sal said, I mean, our influences and where we came up was a little different, right? So in an era, I won't say when it was because that will give too much away. But in a certain era, I was in a glam rock band, and we wore lipstick and eyeliner and all that stuff, and that was what we did back then. It was great. It was fantastic, and so that was sort of a nod to my past, and I'd say I still look sick in drag. In a good way, sick like the kids say today.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, strangely enough, this will give it away though. When I was about 14, 15, we were in school and digging, Alice and all that, and we would go down into a friend's basement. We'd throw on the Alice Cooper makeup, and we'd play. She walks into the room, I don't know her, man. And platform shoes were like those were the things when I was in high school. We wore those things, man. Yes, I am ancient. I am ancient.
Welcome to the club.
We should get some platform shoes for the
Classic.
Peppermint
I like the word classic better than ancient.
Yeah.
So you're listening to the Peppermint Kicks live on Wave Radio Boston.
And their witty banter.
It is witty. It is fantastic
witty.
banter. We've been enjoying the couple of songs from their brand new release that is due to drop on the 23rd of July. All streaming platforms, guys?
On Rumbar Records and all streaming platforms.
Rumbar Records. All right. Cool. What do you got next for us?
Shag?
Shag?
Mr. Shag?
Shag?
Yeah.
Okay, this is Shag 72, which, I had a Shag in 1972. And that was all.
And also got shagged.
And this song, I wrote it, just like the opening line, looking at the yearbook page, thinking back on yesterday. Somebody had sent me the 1974 Noddler, the yearbook from East Boston High School. And I was looking through it, and I was thinking about, people and the times. So here we go. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Looking at the yearbook page, thinking back on yesterday. All your hair's turning gray, and there ain't that much to say. It's okay, that song is faded out. Not everybody made it out, and I'm thinking about you. Oh, Shag 72. The speed of light, the speed of sound. Turntables turn around. There's a band underground coming up for new light. It's alright, and the record starts to play. Bowling has gone away, and I'm thinking about you. Oh, Shag 72. From inside a plastic tomb, outside the electric room, when the girls were nuclear and the bands were truly gear. Oh dear, now the song repeats and plays, looking at the yearbook page, and I'm thinking about you. Oh, Shag 72.
All right.
Still got to get that ending, Sal. Come on.
I thought that's how it goes.
Well, close enough. Yeah.
So we're hanging out with Sal Baglio and Dan Kopko, the Peppermint Kicks, listening to a few selections from their brand new album, getting ready to drop on July 23rd. Be sure to check it out.
Is there a name for that yet?
For what?
The record?
Just the Peppermint Kicks,
Peppermint
right?
Kicks.
Yes.
It's
Might as well go self-titled.
eponymous. Hippopotamus. that joke's old, man. All right, I got to tune up because I'm changing here my capo position, so Sal needs to fill the air with witty banter. You want to talk about Strawberry Girls? You want to do Strawberry Girls?
Strawberry Girls. So we were sending songs back and forth, and I had begun writing this song well over 35 years ago. And I wrote the music, I had the title. I never really landed on the lyric. And I sent Dan the music, and he dug it. And that's all I needed was a little push. And I finished the lyric. Dan added some wonderful bass, singing, and guitars. And, it's another song about looking back. You could probably tell by the lyric, there's a lyric in here about Ripple wine. So that'll give you an idea of when we're talking about.
What is that?
But it's...
I was also going to say our next record is going to be all about looking forward.
Yeah.
We need a new theme, right?
That's going to be real dark.
Exactly.
So Ripple was when you
It's gonna
couldn't
be part of a
afford
trilogy.
Boone's.
Live at the old Rockers home.
So was Ripple when you couldn't afford Boone's Farm?
Boone's Farm is in another song of mine. Isn't it?
Mad
It's in
Dog
a song
2020.
I wrote called Glamorama, but that's another song I sent to Danny. He didn't want it. But Strawberry Girl, it's about a time, early 70s. I always think of Ripple and Boone's Farm and listening to Ram, McCartney's record, and a bunch of other stuff. Okay. Where are the strawberry girls now that it's summertime? Down at the city yards with a bottle of Ripple wine. Oh, their jeans were blue and had holes in them, and I'm afraid that their plans been torn and frayed, but so glad that they were laid. How about the boys in the band, loading drums and guitars up into Jimmy's van, with their heads all full of stars? Oh, their dreams were loud and had gold in them, and I'm afraid that the spotlights and stars have turned I never forget those sweet strawberry girls.
I never forget those sweet strawberry girls.
And when they come to me so fine, man, it really blows my mind that we were ever as free to do exactly what we please. Alright, where are the strawberry girls now that it's summertime? They have all gone away to poetry and rhyme, like their jeans were blue and had holes in them. And I'm afraid that their plans been torn and frayed. So glad that they were late. When all my memories turn into wonder why cannot be, I never forget those sweet strawberry girls.
I never forget those sweet strawberry girls.
I never forget those sweet strawberry girls.
Never forget those sweet strawberry
No, I never
girls.
forget those sweet strawberry girls.
I never forget those sweet strawberry girls.
Strawberry girls, forever strawberry girls. Strawberry girls, forever strawberry girls. Strawberry girls, forever strawberry girls. Strawberry girls, forever strawberry girls.
All right.
Ever.
I love that song.
Oh, thank you. It's a great one. A great Sal Baglio classic right there.
I'm so glad we put it on the record.
Oh, yeah.
And Chris played a
Oh, amazing drums on that
Yeah.
one. I mean, it was really fun. I love playing bass, right? So I played bass on most of the record. We were fortunate enough, Brad Helene played on Shag 72.
Right.
And he was amazing. We should also mention Kevin
Yep,
Rapillo
Kevin
played
Rapillo,
on
yep.
Shag 72. But Chris played the drums and I played the bass on it. And it's so fun, playing the bass because I love doing it. I think every guitar player is like a closet bass player anyway. Oh, man, I can do this, and it's just so fun to do.
Every bass player is a closet guitar player, too.
Well, maybe. I don't know.
yeah.
They have a special pride. There's something about bass players, and they take real serious, pride
Yeah,
in being a
yeah,
bass
yeah.
player. But I loved it. And locking in with Chris and just hearing some of what he did on some of that stuff. It's just amazing. That song, well, I guess if we do single, he was just, I don't hear a single. Chris was fantastic on. He just has this swing that made the songs come alive, So as
Absolutely.
much as Sal said, I had good drums on there, it was like, to me, it was like, flat two-dimensional picture, and then Chris would just bring the thing into 3D.
Yeah. It sounded good to me, but yeah, he lifted it right up.
So should we do I Don't Hear a Single then? Do that one, and I don't know if we have anything else, right?
That's
So
it.
this is going to be the last one, guys?
Yeah, I think
After
this
that,
will
we're doing covers.
Yeah, we'll see what we can do. Yeah, a couple more drinks. So this one's called I Don't Hear a Single, and it's sort of, this one's interesting. It's I came up with the lyrics for this. This is another one where I had this early on and sent it around to Sal, and the lyrics have a bit of a double meaning. It's like, on the one hand, it's the classic sort of record company, or you're trying to do music and you're trying to get your stuff out there, and you're getting told, well, it's not that interesting, or I don't hear a single, whatever,
Right,
And
yep.
there's also a dark side to it where it's a little bit of about a sort of a breakup song, where singles are better off alone, and we made all this great music together, but on the other hand, maybe it's time to move on, sort of thing. So it's interesting lyric that I thought was a little bit clever, and that's the story for that one.
Yeah, and you were talking earlier about what's your favorite song. At one point, this was our favorite song because Dan sent it over and we started to build it, and it just was a very great tune. And for a while, this was our favorite.
You guys are recording this, right? Yeah, good. That's good. I'm Sal Baglio saying what a great tune my tune is.
It is, man. It is, Dan.
Keep that to show my grandkids. They'll be like, who the hell is Sal Baglio?
Which one?
Oh,
My grandkids. Come on.
the Peppermint Kicks will be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame by then.
Grandfather, by the way. So.
No. 1, 2, 3, 4. I write the songs and try to please ya. Something stolen, something borrowed. Just pull the plug and make it easier. Here today and gone tomorrow. After all the noise we're making, the single's better off alone. I don't hear a single, just more pointless rock and roll. Just more pointless rock and roll. Start the car, turn up the radio. Your voice is blaring through my speakers. I know this may be our last do-si-do. The price of singles getting cheaper. After all the songs we're breaking, singles better off alone. I don't hear a single, just more pointless rock and roll. Just more pointless rock and roll. I don't hear a single, just more pointless rock and roll. Just more pointless rock and roll. Don't hear a single, just more pointless rock and roll. Just more pointless rock and roll. I don't hear a single, just more pointless rock and roll. Just more pointless rock and roll.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, the Peppermint Kicks, Sal Baglio, Dan Kopko. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with us here on the first wave.